Gentlemen, welcome. We are back for the 2023 Athens Women's Football Summit here in the stunning Riviera Coast. It's a pleasure to see everyone here again. Great to see many familiar faces, many new faces, and very much looking forward to the next couple of days. If you don't know me, my name is Adriano del Monte. I am an Italian-Australian football presenter who lives in Milano. I'm from Melbourne in Australia, and very recently had the great privilege of covering the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, which was clearly the most powerful event I've ever covered in my career. It was absolutely incredible, and look forward to sharing some of those stories over the next couple of days. So a great time to come back together again to have this summit and reconnect with so many wonderful people, meet new people as well. So personally, very much looking forward to it. Of course, I'm not alone. Shon, lovely to see you again. Those of you that were here last year would have seen Shon here with me this year, again, doing a wonderful job. Shon, it's lovely to see you again.
Lovely to see you too, Adriano. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 Athens Women's Football Summit. Sorry, I was going to scream and shout. Anyway, yeah, so welcome. It's a pleasure to... Sorry about that.
It's all good. It's no problem. That was not part of the dramatic effect. Shon, you try this one here. Before we get underway, Shon, I think it was important to maybe discuss what I mentioned, the Women's World Cup, what we've just come off, because as I mentioned, I was very lucky to be there and see it live and see the impact that it had, certainly in my country, in New Zealand, and the impact that it did have. But here around the world, in Europe, in Africa, we saw so much... well, obviously great performances on the pitch, but so much progress off the pitch. What was the experience like in Africa in 2023?
Amazing. I think we were all celebrating because it was a huge step where Africa got to show the talent that they have, they got to show. We proved something on the global stage. We had 3 teams qualify for the last 16, which is history in itself, never unheard of. And I think it was a very great moment for the continent because we were cheering on Nigeria, Morocco, South Africa, even Zambia, who did not make it to the last 16. At least they walked away with a win from the group stage. So it's quite the moment where we are still celebrating it till now, despite everything that was going on behind the scenes. We say we came, we saw, we conquered. We couldn't go past the last 16, but I think we made a mark, and you all can agree. And also, let's not forget, we had the first player who wore a hijab, that is from Morocco. And I think that was such a historical moment when you talk about inclusion and diversity. And I think we are there. We are there to stay. Next time.
Very well said. Extended applause. Of course, South Africa did knock out Italy, which I didn't personally enjoy. But in any case, it was incredible. And I can tell you, Morocco, particularly their fans and the support, to think on the other side of the world in Australia, they were as well represented and supported as anyone. So it was a really special to see the fandom and support for these teams. And of course, the players that were there, I can tell you, in Australia, we had the England-Australia semi-final. We had 11 million plus in the country tune in. We're a country of 25, 26 million. So do some simple maths, almost 50% of the country were tuned into their televisions watching. So quite remarkable to play a small role in it. Was really fulfilling and was inspiring to be a part of. But of course, 2 men who saw this vision many years ago and are still very much committed to that are the 2 co-founders of the event. So as always, to kick things off, as we do at the start of every year, Marios, Agisilaos, please join us, the 2 co-founders. A warm applause.
Kalimera. Good morning to everybody. I will say some words in Greek and then Marios in English, so to keep the quality. Είμαστε πολύ χαρούμενοι που είστε όλοι εδώ μαζί μας στο Athens Women's Football Summit 2023. Είναι ένα ακόμα βήμα σε μια μεγάλη προσπάθεια που κάνουμε, η οποία έχει έδρα την Αθήνα, αλλά απλώνεται σε πάρα πολλές χώρες και η απόδειξη της σημαντικότητας της προσπάθειας είναι η παρουσία η δικιά σας εδώ στην Αθήνα από πάρα πολλές χώρες, αφήσατε τις υποχρεώσεις σας και ήρθατε εδώ να μας υποστηρίξετε στο όραμα που έχουμε να γίνει η Αθήνα το παγκόσμιο σπίτι του ποδοσφαίρου γυναικών και κυρίως όχι μόνο να υποστηρίξουμε το άθλημα, το όμορφο άθλημα, αλλά και τις αξίες και τις αρχές που μέσα από το ποδόσφαιρο γυναικών έχει ανάγκη η κοινωνία, όπως είναι η ισότητα, η διαφορετικότητα, οι ίσες ευκαιρίες. Μια ακόμα μεγάλη απόδειξη πόσο σημαντικό είναι το movement το οποίο κάνουμε είναι ότι σήμερα έχουμε την υποστήριξη της ελληνικής κυβέρνησης. Ο ίδιος ο Πρωθυπουργός, ο κύριος Κυριάκος Μητσοτάκης, επέλεξε και υποστήριξε με τον καταλληλότερο άνθρωπο, τον κύριο Γιώργο Μαυρωτά, τον Γενικό Γραμματέα του Αθλητισμού, να είναι σήμερα μαζί μας. Ένας θρύλος του αθλητισμού, του παγκόσμιου αθλητισμού και όχι μόνο στους υγρούς στίβους στους οποίους είχε την άσκηση της δράσης του, αλλά και κυρίως σε θέματα πολιτισμού, ισότητας και σήμερα παίζει ένα πολύ μεγάλο ρόλο σαν Γενικός Γραμματέας Αθλητισμού. Μια άλλη ακόμα ένδειξη ή απόδειξη του πόσο σημαντική είναι η δουλειά που γίνεται είναι η παρουσία εδώ σήμερα των εκπροσώπων της Αμερικανικής Πρεσβείας, που όλοι καταλαβαίνουμε πόσο σημαντικό είναι αυτό, ειδικά όταν οι ΗΠΑ υποστηρίζουν το ποδόσφαιρο γυναικών με μεγάλη πρωτοπορία, με πολλή οργάνωση και προσπαθούν να δώσουν βοήθεια σε πάρα πολλές άλλες δράσεις όπως τη δικιά μας. Δεν θέλω να κουράσω άλλο. Ευχόμαστε να περάσουμε ένα όμορφο διήμερο και σας ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ από καρδιάς που είστε όλοι εδώ.
Our call to action is invest, empower, inspire, and then we all win. And we are grateful to have you all here from around the world. We have people here from the United Kingdom, from Kenya, from Chile, from India, and other places that have come together, and we're being live streamed right now, to celebrate and to empower the women's game, that no matter what metric you look at, is growing year by year in triple digits, daily breaking records in attendance, in player numbers, in consumerism, and in positive attention and coverage, though we have a long way to go. We're just at the beginning, and the purpose of the Athens Women's Football Summit, not only this event that brings together top stakeholders from around the world, from business, the sporting side, NGOs, government, medical, and so forth, but also all the stakeholders that we bring together around the year is exactly that, to bring together top people who are aligned with the unique culture and values of the women's game so that we can work together to drive its healthy long-term growth for the good of our societies and all the individuals in it, men and women, boys and girls. So I welcome you all here today. I'm not going to say much more because we have incredible people who have come together from around the world in order to contribute to this gathering. So thank you very much, and I look forward to an amazing few days with you. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to call to the dais the Secretary General of Sport for the Hellenic Republic, the Honorable Mr. George Mavrotas.
Thank you very much, Marie, and I'm on behalf of the Greek government and the Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis. I would like to thank for the invitation to this very, very challenging event for the Athens Women Football Summit, a summit that wants to promote women in sport, especially football, and I will give a more general perspective about our view in women in sport. I am five-time Olympian with the Greek water polo team, and at my first Olympic Games in Los Angeles, the women participation, the female athletes in Los Angeles was only 23%. In my last Olympic Games in Sydney, the percentage of female athletes was 38%, and now in Paris 2024, we have perfect balance, 50-50 for women athletes in sports, something that shows how much developed the women's sport in the last 40 years. Especially in the last years, women's football development is beyond expectations. We have seen women football games with about 100,000 spectators in Camp Nou in Barcelona. We have seen a couple of months ago the World Cup of women, which was almost equivalent to the men's tournament. Women's football is developing very fast, and this is good news for sport and good news for our societies also. As I often say, sport is not only about cups and medals, it's a social tool. Sport is the best vehicle for integration, elimination of discriminations, and removal of any kind of inequalities. But also from my long sport career, I have realized that sport is also a vehicle of empowerment of girls and women, something which is very important for the first steps in their life. And this is not theory. I have seen it happen in my sport. I have seen it happen in many other sports. Internationally, women's sport is much developed in countries where the empowerment of women is a key element of wider policies, in countries like the Scandinavian countries, the Netherlands, Australia, Canada, US, and also France, Italy, Spain. These policies are now also followed by our country, in Greece, policies that highlight the opportunities of girls' participation in sport and combat the relevant threats. Conclusively, fostering women's football is exactly in the core of these policies. Our policy for reinforcing the place of women in sport and through sport in the society. So, congratulations once again for this initiative. We will be on your side, and all the best for the works of the summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to say also that we are very honored to have with us from the United States Embassy to Greece, Cultural Attaché, SHANNA SURENDRA. Thank you very much for coming.
Kalimera. Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here today in this beautiful place and among such great company. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Marios, for this outstanding initiative, this very, very important initiative. Thank you also, Secretary General Mavrotas, for being here to show your support. Again, my name is SHANNA Surendra. I'm the Cultural Attaché here at our U.S. Embassy in Athens. It's been a great pleasure to call Athens my home for the last 2 years. And you can see why, right? It's a phenomenal place. Along with my colleagues here at the embassy, and one of them is over there taking some photos, Eleni Alexaki, we work every day to try to better strengthen the people-to-people ties between the United States and Greece. So what's happening here today is a part of that. By connecting people in sports across the world, we further enhance our bilateral relationships, thus making the world a more connected and hopefully more peaceful, prosperous, and secure place. So today, I stand before you not only as a representative of the US government, but also as an advocate for women's equity, representation, and leadership, not only in sports, but across all sectors. American soccer, football, I'm confused about what I should call it today. I probably will revert to soccer just because that's what's in my blood. For me personally, I spent about 15 years playing soccer when I was growing up as a kid. And I can say now, I didn't go on to become a professional. I didn't have the skill set, but I took from that experience skills that will serve me throughout my life. For example, being able to be out in front of a crowd, right? Approaching things with confidence, with poise. There are things that athletics can teach us that will serve us for our lives, whether we go on to become a professional or a diplomat. I want to highlight just a little bit about what the US government is doing to advocate for diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, DEIA. This is something that the Biden administration has taken very seriously from the very first days in office. President Biden and Vice President Harris have put forth a powerful message, not only domestically in the United States, but also in our foreign policy all over the world. Here at our embassy, we're weaving DEIA into everything that we do. What does that mean? Well, it means that we make a point of coming to events like this. It also means that internally, with our team at the embassy, we're pushing to try to make sure that more women can be in leadership positions. We're trying to create the space. We're inviting women to the table, because it's not enough to say that we are here to listen. We have to bring people to the table. That's part of our job, right? We also, at our mission, are working to advance the rights of individuals who identify as LGBTQI+, persons with disabilities, refugees, and other underrepresented groups. So our dedication extends beyond borders, beyond sectors, and today I just want to talk a little bit about its significance in sports, and I promise I won't stand up here for a terribly long time. In the United States, the story of women's soccer really is an inspiration. We have seen US women's soccer through the national team rise to global fame, not only for the unmatched prowess on the field, but also for the relentless struggle for equal pay and representation. Those athletes embody the spirit of pushing for equity, proving that women's sports are just as thrilling, just as exciting, just as important, and they deserve the same recognition and the same remuneration as men's. Now, of course, the United States is not perfect. I have to say that every day in my work. We're trying to push to be better, and we want to try to help people around the world push to also be better. And our work doesn't stop there. It continues with initiatives, with policies, and support from the US government to nurture women in sports at every level. We believe in building inclusive sporting environments where women, irrespective of their backgrounds, have an equal chance to play, to lead, and to inspire. At our embassy, we support exchange programs sending athletes from around the world to the United States and bringing athletes from the United States to different countries around the world, again, as a way of facilitating our people-to-people connections, helping the people of the United States better understand the people of the rest of the world, helping the people of the rest of the world better understand the United States, because if we understand each other, we can speak the same languages, even if not the exact same language, but we understand each other. We can communicate. We can avoid the kinds of stuff that's happening all around the world when we're not communicating. So I think I'm preaching to the choir here, but I encourage you all in this room to continue to be allies for women in sports and women in any room, not only because it's the right thing to do in terms of basic human rights, but also because it's the smart thing to do. I want to applaud the organizers of the event for showcasing also the economic impact of bringing in the full inclusion of anyone, of everyone. Because if we're not including everyone, we're not tapping our full talent. I would say, if you're here representing a sports federation, we need more women in the leadership of sports organizations. We're not there yet. As business reports consistently show, organizations with gender diversity on their executive teams are 25% more likely to have above average productivity and profitability than those without. So clearly, building inclusive teams also helps the bottom line. So as I close, I want to thank you again for your commitment to this cause. It's super important. It's important not only for sports, it's important across the board. So let's work together to try to make the world of sports, and just the world, more inclusive, a more equitable place, and a more inspiring place for everyone. Let's ensure that we allow every young girl with a ball at her feet to chase her dreams on and off the field as an athlete, as a leader and as a game changer. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Thank you so much.